When we all got on the ship, it starts to sail within moments. I guess this is the beginning of Act 5 then. It seems that Ulrich and Pro want to expedite our departure from Alarenthia. They continue to look at us with smiles on their faces. To themselves, they had succeeded. You know what? I'm just relieved that Pro is still alive. But in what exactly? That's what I demand to know, as I step forward. If I was in charge, I couldn't have them plotting behind my back. Exactly, I'm really upset that they did this without my knowing. Everybody gathers around and listens as our ship gently walks back and forth. Though relieved that there were no real casualties, we needed to know what we got into. If they wanted to leave so fast, was it so bad that we could never come back to Alarenthia?
Whoa, it's not that bad, trust me. But it's definitely the biggest score of my life. I mean, swindle an entire nation? Amazing!
Yeah, pat yourself on the back. Why didn't you tell me? He continues talking, his pride apparent.
It all started after the attack on our HQ. Domek cheated death, and we rose from the ashes. Then, we were going to Alarenthia, where I knew we'd be fighting. So I thought, what if we could cheat death again, but to our advantage? There was so much room for error that we stepped in to even the odds. I knew that Ulrich would side with Vivian regardless, so I went to him.
I didn't want to work with Pro at first. It seemed like a plan doomed to failure. Could we really cheat an entire nation, right in front of their own eyes? Obviously, it sounds impossible, but Pro was pretty insistent. He came up with a solid plan. I'd fight with Vivian, and he'd fight with Draku. If we were both on opposing teams, we could throw the battle in any direction. So that's what we did. We ensured victory for the side the Monarch chose.
It was easy enough to manipulate Draku. I mean, he thought he was the one manipulating us. But it was my plan all along to fight by his side. After that, all we needed was this.
If you were really, if you were secretly working with Ulrich, how would the situation work out if I chose to, side with Draku instead of Vivian? Well, I'll find out in my next playthrough. He holds up a dagger, the same one he used from the Colosseum. Stabbing it through his hand, that was the true nature of a weapon was revealed. Rather than piercing his hand, the blade shrunk into the handle of the dagger. It was a fake. What about the blood?
Along with some chaos and acting, they'd believe the battle was over. The chaos, of course, was the moment the Monarch used the blade. We pushed you toward using it so we could have our opportunity.
That's really all there is to it. None of you could know until it was already over. If information was leaked, everything would be for nothing.
I understand your logic, but I'm still very angry that I wasn't in on it. You used me! You used me! I was involved in your plan directly, and you didn't tell me what was going on. Like, what if I fucked up and made the wrong choice? What if I sided with Draku? What if I decided to murder Draku? What if... Oh my god, you should have let me know. You should have let me known. Don't ever do that to me again.
You're free to come back to Alarenthia, but we might stay behind. It was just in our best interest to get away before they figured things out. So yeah, a new alliance, minimal casualties, and a great story.
Yeah, great story. Don't ever do it again.
I'd say this was an all-around success, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's a success. Don't plan things behind my back again.
Yeah, I can't believe we really pulled it off. I think this might just be my masterpiece.
It is your masterpiece. Don't plan anything behind my back. They wait in silence for our response, but their faces are beaming with pride. It seemed like a simple plan enough, but it was definitely risky. The moment we set foot in the Colosseum, they were in real danger. But that only shows off their resolve. They were willing to die for this. However, something feels off about this. It's all too perfect, too convenient. I'm not sure. Ulrich was willing to throw everything away? I mean, I sided with Vivian, but that wasn't a guaranteed. Exactly. They shouldn't have planned this behind my back. Had I sided with Draku, he'd lose his chance to change Alarenthia. Exactly. Which is why they shouldn't have done this behind my back. There had to be more to this story. Something they're not telling us. Regardless, they shouldn't have planned things behind my back. I have to talk to them in private later on. Maybe they could confide in me. Or maybe not, because that might require a heart-to-heart. But as it stood, I didn't really buy their tale. Would they really risk their lives for a foreign alliance? My comrades seemed too thankful, and they showered them with praise. They don't deserve that praise. They shouldn't have done this behind my back.
That might be the coolest thing I've ever heard. I knew you were a swindler pro, but this is crazy. You're using your skill to shape Alestia's history.
It is pretty damn cool. They shouldn't have done it behind my back.
And Ulrich, I never knew you were so good at acting. You really had me sold there. I almost can't believe it. It felt like something was up, but to think it was this?
He was good acting. Don't ever plan things behind my back. Okay, I'm done saying that.
Almost puts my strategizing to shame, I have to say. So what's the next step? Is it just smooth sailing now? I imagine our chances of getting caught are pretty low.
You should probably tell Vivian what really went down. I doubt he'd mind, and at least he wouldn't find out another way. In the meantime, we need to have a word with our new prisoner.
Right, I'll tell him while you do that then. But I think we've also earned some much-needed rest. Let's take the day off and meet back up here in the morning. That is, if it's okay with you, Monarch.
I nod and tell everyone that they're dismissed. Everybody runs off, except for Ulrich and Pro. They approach me, and they look anxious.
Sovy is in the brig, right? I can't believe he surrendered. Just like that.
And I heard him say something about a mole? Let's go talk with him, Monarch. You deserve some answers.
Is it an anthropomorphic mole?
Yeah, let Dominic pamper Vivian for the time being. But before we head to the brig, look behind us, Monarch. It's starting to look like an impressive army, isn't it?
I do as instructed and notice we're accompanied by at least a dozen ships. If that was the strength of our new Alarinthian army, then I was a loss for words. That fleet combined with our own, and my blade, stood a real chance in Balteus. But I couldn't lull myself into a false sense of security. There was still so much to do. And right now the next step was having a word with Sovy. Just what was he after? The fact that Ulrich and Pro volunteered to come along was also pretty peculiar. The pieces have started to fall into place, but there's still quite a few gaps. Maybe this information that Sovy promised would help me in some way. I'll be head down to the brig, and I'm hopeful that I could figure all this out. After all, I could leave no question unanswered before attacking Balteus. Resting in our brig was the one man who knew everything about the enemy. If we could use him for information, then that would be an incredible boon. As we enter the brig, one fact plays on repeat in my ever-running mind. With everything we just gained, we actually stand a chance at winning this war. The brig is dark, and we can't see much at all. That is, until our eyes adjust, and we immediately see Sovy. He's broken free from his binds, and is doing pull-ups from a ceiling beam. Grunting with exertion, he lets himself fall to the ground when he notices our entrance. Taking a few steps forward us, he's careful not to make any sudden movements. Pro makes sure the cell door is shut and locked, so he can't escape from us.
My, I wasn't expecting an entourage. Should I be flattered or concerned for my safety?
An obvious attempt at humor. But none of us acknowledge this. Alaric steps forward, demanding a swift answer from our captive.
Explain yourself, Sovy. I'm seconds away from throwing you overboard.
Again with the hostility. Look, I don't even really know what I'm doing here. It just felt like the right thing to do, given the circumstances.
What circumstances?
Sovy looks at me and shakes his head dismissively.
Back when we attacked your HQ in Mazeo, my goal was to kill your friend and retrieve the blade. I failed both objectives, and the Triumvirate punished me.
I see.
It's true. Sovy did show me mercy during our brief encounter. He had my life in his hands, but he chose to run away instead. He saw something when he touched the blade. I could tell. Now that I know the truth of the spirit realm, I think I knew what he saw. The monarchy. He must have seen the same truth that shocked all of us. I ask if that's true, almost certain that I'm correct. Then he confirms.
You are correct. I found out that the Triumvirate was lying to me. I let you live because I wasn't sure of what to do next. I'm still uncertain. When I got back to Balteus, they punished me by placing me in exile.
You expect us to believe this? Sovy, you're nothing but a mindless slave. The monarch survived because of his strength.
He did spare me, and I also know that he's speaking the truth because I've seen his side story, but the protagonist wouldn't know that, so I'll play the protagonist's shoes. I tell Ulrich that Sovy is speaking the truth. I explain what happened while we were alone near the idols.
See, Ulrich? You're always so paranoid. Listen to your friends before making snap judgments. I have a lot to say, so you better learn to trust me again.
Again?
Don't count on it.
He walks away and stands in a nearby corner. Sensing an opportunity, Pro enters the conversation.
So, what did you want to tell us? Around here, you need to earn your keep. Ulrich was serious about throwing you overboard.
Well, this is where it gets complicated. I still consider myself a servant to the Triumvirate. But Halen? Well, I want nothing more than to see him fall.
You're gonna continue to serve the Triumvirate, but you want to kill Helen, huh?
I'm not here to hurt any of you. Not this time. As you can see, even though I broke out of my binds, I am playing nice. Right now, all I can offer is information to aid your attack on Balteus.
And why would you want to help us take down the Triumvirate?
Doing so would involve taking down Halen as well. He sold me out and got me into this whole mess.
Okay, and let's say we take down Halen. What then? You'd be reinstated as Inquisitor and just stab us in the back.
You speak as if people aren't capable of playing both sides. Either way, I don't know. I'd make my choice when the time comes.
Would Sovy be reinstated, or would Shane?
And what makes you say that so easily? You've served the Triumvirate for your entire life.
No, not my entire life. They welcomed me with open arms when I was young and broken. Now here they are, inflicting the same wounds they had promised to heal.
Is that supposed to make sense to me?
Did you have a troubled childhood, Sovy?
No, because it barely makes sense to me. Now, Pro, will you let me say what I have to say?
Sure.
Sovy sighs and crosses his arms.
If you want to take down the Triumvirate, you'll have to enter their chambers. I've never seen them leave, and I don't expect that they ever will. I always thought they were hiding, but I don't think that's true. There's something at the back of their chambers. Something off. It's like a spirit idol, but the very sight of it fills me with fear. I'm not sure what it is, but I have a few theories about it.
I'm shocked, but he's actually telling the truth. I've seen this idol in my visions of the Triumvirate. Could it really be true? Is he doubting his asters?
I think that maybe it's their source of power. But I'm probably wrong, as that seems to be the trend lately. Either way, its destruction should be your top priority.
I don't know, in my dream, even the Triumvirates were egging me on. It lines up with what I was told in my visions, but I was unsure if those visions were tricks. In them, I was drawn toward this special idol.
A spirit idol in their own chambers? But those are conduits for the monarchy. It makes no sense that they'd keep one close by. Their main goal was to destroy all of the idols. Nice try, but I'm not going to believe any of this. Let's go, Monarch. We'll ditch him in Mazeo.
But we know he's telling the truth. Pro and Ulrich start to leave, but I tell them to stop. I let them know that Sovy's telling the truth, as odd as it sounded. I saw the same idol in some visions I had of the Triumvirate's chambers.
Visions of the Triumvirate's chambers.
When were you going to tell us about this?
Well, I wasn't quite sure about it. When were you going to tell me? I was going to say something, but then I realized just how stupid that would be. Sovy scoffs, clearly amused by their reactions.
I'm not finished yet.
Our attention is directed back towards him.
I suggest that your attack focuses on entering their chambers. There, you could take down both them and this dark idol. However, you would have to fight your way through Halen. And that's where my next piece of information comes in. Halen may seem just like you and I, but he's not. The Triumvirate created him with that blade.
Wait, what?
He was made to be the perfect soldier. He would always serve his masters, no matter what. Little did I know that loyalty was stronger than our friendship. He promised not to tell them what happened, but the moment we got home, he sold me out immediately. He lives under the Triumvirate's thrall, a true mindless slave.
What?
You must never let them get their hands on that blade again. They aren't limited to suits of armor. They've mastered it enough to create life. Of course, their first test was Halen. They needed someone trustworthy enough to serve them. I think they did it to ensure that nobody else ran away. My previous master, the former Grand Inquisitor, defected. I trusted Halen and the Triumvirate. They all betrayed me. But there's your information. I'm sure it will help you out. A possible weakness, and the true nature of Halen. With that blade, you could even give him freedom.
You know, it's interesting. I guess you're, following after your predecessor by betraying the Triumvirates, huh?
It would release the spell that the Triumvirate has put on him. Of course, that's not how I'd like things to play out.
He smirks at me and I can sense what he's about to say.
I would prefer it if you let me kill him, Monarch. That is all I ask for in return. I won't get in your way. If you grant me this, I would be further in your debt.
Why not? We all look at each other, slightly confused. The Triumvirate created Helen to be the perfect slave? Guess it makes sense, especially if they dealt with defection. But just what was this idol at the back of their chambers? That was deploying it really the best course of action? Guess we wouldn't find out until the very end of things.
So, do you trust me?
Not really, but I know you're telling the truth. We all nod reluctantly. These facts weren't revelations, but they helped. If I could free Halen, he might end up being a valuable asset. However, the idol remained a true wild card in all of this. If I ever got the chance to talk to the Triumvirate, I'd ask them. But something tells me, if we're face to face, it won't be civil. And for all I know, it's just a trick. The idol could be a red herring.
Good. Because there's 2 more things to talk about. And now that I've earned your trust, you have no reason to doubt them. I saved them for last because, well, it involves dishonesty among your ranks.
It must be about that mole he mentioned. I tell him to quit dancing around the subject and down me. We had a lot of planning to do for our final attack and very little time.
Well then, do you 2 want to tell him, or should I?
Why did I have a suspicion that it would be Ulrich and Pro? Pro and Ulrich shuffle in silence, clearly in a state of unease. Is this just coincidence that these are also the 2 that I've never had heart-to-hearts with? What was Sovy talking about? There's no way Ulrich and Pro were dishonest. They had served Dominik and Salis for decades. They were easily the most trustworthy. Why did I get feeling that Ulrich was like thousands of years old because he said thousands? Or almost said thousand.
I guess it's time. I'll go first.
Ulrich steps forward, taking a deep breath. Sovy watches with his signature smirk.
My allegiance is with the rebellion. I can promise you that. But that wasn't always the case. It's all in the past. Ages ago. Sovy is trying to harm our trust with ancient information, Monarch. I knew this was going to happen. He'd earn your trust with a couple of interesting facts, and then attack. This is subterfuge. My past has no bearing on my current loyalty.
Did you used to serve the Triumvirate?
But I knew this secret would come out sooner or later. That's the real reason I sided with Pro to cheat the Colosseum. You'd know my loyalty was with you, no matter what.
That much is true. He had no guarantee that I'd side with Vivian. Didn't have to, in the end, but he was willing to abandon his dreams. That was proof enough of his loyalty, but I was still a bit concerned.
Delaying, as always. He's scared of you, Monarch. He knows you might throw him away.
Well, not yet. Not when he's still useful.
No. The Monarch would never do that. Not after what I did for our cause in Alarinthia. So go ahead, Sovy. Watch your plan crumble and fall.
I notice the weight lift itself from my back. The blade disappears from my scabbard. Sovy is doing it again. However, much to my surprise, that's not what happens next. Ulrich sighs in both relief and fright as the blade appears in his hands. I take a few steps back, shocked. How in the world was this possible?
Grand Inquisitor Ulrich. That was lifetimes ago. Ancient history. He's using a dead past to try and hurt us, Monarch.
You were Sovy's predecessor? Ulrich was a Grand Inquisitor? Then he must have defected be the defector that Sovy mentioned. Or maybe even earlier than that? The pieces all of this are starting to fall into place.
I realized that the Triumvirate was my true enemy. That's when I decided to join the rebellion. You really thought this would work, Sovy?
I never said I was intending to hurt you. This is merely information that might help you in Balteus. Ulrich has inside knowledge, Monarch, and he can wield the blade. It's your choice if you let this information hurt you. But in your situation, I would be relieved to know. Now, there's no need to keep any more secrets.
Very well. Okay. He knew about the Triumvirates. That's fine with me. I'm so confused by now. Was Sovy helping us or trying to hurt us? Seemed kind of helpful to me. Or maybe not really much of a difference because I already knew about the idol. And Ulrich was going to tell me anyways. So I guess there's not really... didn't really change anything. Just the inevitable happened earlier. I can see how he might think that Ulrich's past would harm our trust. But I can also see how sharing this information would help us out. Furthermore, the way Ulrich handled this situation was extremely professional, unlike what he did earlier. Under any other circumstances, I might have taken this information badly. But he's right, it's in the past. He's gone on to prove his loyalty to me. The happenings in Alarinthia finally made full sense to me. He was securing my trust for when the secret came to light. Genius, really. I have to deal with him more later on. This conversation had potential to explode, and I'm glad it didn't. I know Ulrich's real plan, but Pro still remains the wild card. What was he after? I turn to face him, and he takes that as a signal that it's his turn to talk. Ulrich passes the blade back to me and places it in the scabbard. Pro looks worried. Perhaps this secret was worse than Ulrich's?
Go on. Tell the Monarch, Pro. It's time for him to know, don't you think?
He gulps before speaking. Pro? I liked you slightly more than Ulrich. Tell me what's going on.
So, I guess I'll start from the beginning. My parents abandoned me. They didn't die in the occupation like I tell everybody. I've always wanted to know one thing. Why?
So they didn't die in the occupation.
None of my searches gave me any useful information, so over time I grew more and more desperate. One day, the Triumvirate reached out to me.
Oh, you used to work for them as well. So your parents aren't dead, they just abandoned you, and that left you in a bit of despair, so you ended up turning to the Triumvirates. Okay. He looks down, ashamed.
They said they knew the truth about my parents, but in exchange, they wanted me to give them information. Details about the rebellion. It seemed like a harmless exchange.
You betrayed us, Pro? Pro was the mole.
But over time, they started to ask for more and more. I gave them so many secrets, but got nothing in return. It wasn't much longer before I quit. I had enough of their lies.
Was knowing why your parents abandoned you really worth, giving out our secrets? Really, Pro? Oh, I lost my respect for you a lot.
But the damage was already done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think that it was worth it, Pro. Risking our lives? Just so you can figure out some information of some jackasses who abandoned you? Please.
What was the last thing you leaked to them, Pro?
The location of our new HQ. The tunnels. It was a good hideout, right under their noses. They'd never find it, unless somebody told them.
You do realize that you're the reason why I started hating Shane and the reason why Dominic died, right? I'm shocked to my core. Pro leaked our location, then that means...
That's right. Pro is responsible. His leak enabled us to attack you in Mazeo. All of those lives. The blood is on his hands.
Well, it's more so on Shane, but... Oh my god. Pro?
No! Like I said, I quit. They lied to me. They knew nothing about my parents. All they wanted was somebody gullible enough to serve them.
Yes, you were gullible. But even when you were gullible, did you really think that knowing about some people who abandoned you really was worth our lives? You are a fool, Pro. You are very, very foolish.
It doesn't change what happened, Pro. Now, Monarch, how do you take this?
I'm just disappointed. Pro was like my second or third favorite character, but now that's not the case anymore.
Hey, I proved my loyalty. Just like Ulrich. I put my life on the line to serve the rebellion. There was no guarantee we'd survive the Colosseum.
That much was true. I knew everything was too good to be true. The real reason they did what they did was all self-serving. It was so they could defend themselves as they were exposed. With an ulterior motive like that, were they really trustworthy? Ulrich's path was easy to forgive. But what Pro did to all of us. Yeah. I have no idea how to react. Sovy was fighting a war on my mind.
Look, I made up for what I did. All those lives we lost, we got them back, and more. Our Alorinthian allies will help us win this war, hands down.
Yes, but... I guess that's your way of making up for your mistakes. Okay. You didn't make up for your mistakes the way that I would have preferred? But... to be fair, if I made a foolish mistake like Pro, to be fair, I would have done the same thing. Be quiet about it. And then try my best to make up for it. Just to relieve my own, in an attempt to relieve my own guilt. Yeah? I can't be, I'm very disappointed in him. And I think what he did was really foolish. Stupid even. And yet, I forgive him for it. I nod, acknowledging his point. But I need more time to think about this. If they had secrets, did my other comrades too? Look, I've already been in too much shock. This is the same recording session as the whole faking your murders thing. I'm kind of out of energy to be shocked anymore. I'm also super tired because I'm recording this at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I should be in bed right now. I'm starting to doubt the loyalty of everybody around me. I need to stop. That's probably what Sovy wants me to do. I need to ensure everybody's loyalty before we leave to Balteus. Ulrich was a previous Grand Inquisitor. Pro was a mole responsible for the attack in Mazeo. How was I supposed to deal with this right before the final battle? Yeah, I guess that's what Sovy was trying to do. I asked Ulrich and Pro to leave me alone with Sovy. We get some rest and meet on the deck this morning. One big gathering before we arrived in Mazeo would help. I can see the worry on their faces. I tell them I'm not throwing them away. I won't. As they leave, the worry is still there, however. Their secrets were finally out. I don't know if anybody else knew, but I guess I was enough. I'm in charge. I turn back to Sovy, who crosses his arms.
So much dishonesty in the air, wouldn't you agree? I want you to look at your comrades, and then look at me. Unlike them, I've been nothing but honest with you.
Sovy, I'm going to tell you what my plan would be if I was in this situation. I would take Ulrich and Pro with me into private chambers so that we could have a private meeting. And I would tell them that I cannot risk them being, being dishonest with me. I would make them promise that they have my full trust. I would demand them to give out any remaining secrets so that there was no more secrets. I don't like secrets. I was angry about what happened earlier in Alarinthia. And I'm not happy about this as well. I'm not going to tell everyone else I'll tell everyone else about Ulrich, but I won't tell everyone else about Pro because I don't think other people would be quite as forgiving of Pro as I am.
I would rather have an honest enemy than a cheating friend. That's part of why I wanted to talk with you, Monarch. I know that we can be open with one another.
I shake my head, unsure of how to respond. Yeah, sure, I'll be open with the man who tried to murder me. I tell him that I need to rest. Some time alone. So much was happening all at once. I needed a break.
Very well. We're meeting on the deck come morning, then? I'll make sure to be on my best behavior. I respect you, Monarch. I always told myself that I'd serve the rightful rulers of this world.
Sure.
It just seemed like I was also lied to by the Triumvirate. Just like Ulrich. Just like Pro. We're victims here. All of us. I may have realized it late, but was it too late? I guess we'll see.
His attitude seemed to have changed now that we're alone. And for the first time, I can sympathize with him. He's hurt. And lost. Yeah, I kinda do. I sort of sympathize with him. I don't fully trust him. Even knowing his side of the story, I don't fully trust him. But I do sympathize with him. We're just trying to do what we believe is right. I tell him that he's free to join us at the meeting in the morning. But everybody will be told who he is. It'll be up to them to decide how they take it. If the majority of my comrades want him gone, then we'll have to part ways in Mazeo.
Very well. It's only fair. Have a good rest, Monarch.
Night-night, Sovy. He bows to me as I turn to leave the cell. Make sure it's locked tight. He'd be let out in the morning. For now, I needed to be alone with my thoughts. I needed to process everything.